Isn't it wonderful to allow protesting? No.
He was not a loser. He was a patriot, and the people left behind there were heroes. And I resent like hell. I'm talking about my son, Bo Biden. You're talking about
I don't know, Bo. I know Hunter got thrown out of the military. He was thrown out, dishonorably discharged.
That's not true. It wasn't dishonorably.
Cocaine use. And he didn't have a job until didn't have a job until
So stupid. So stupid. Thank you. Thank you.
Hello, users! Hello! This thing is on, everybody. Welcome to the broadcast. This is Above It All for the day of October 10th, 2020. Hopefully, y'all enjoyed our little cute introduction. That's been something I like doing. It gives me an extra few minutes to make sure that the stream is okay. Get myself a little musical segments. I love music. I love video games, and I also love coffee. So I'm gonna take a sip of this. You need to add the good news is clip from Biden to the intro. You mean this one?
Good news is, for me, I'm here. The bad news for you is, I'm coming back.
I'm coming back. The bad news for you is I'm coming back. What? I don't know. That one's just legendary. But yeah, let me make sure I've got all my gizmos and gadgets and shit working. I was at the supermarket not too long ago. And the aisle for like foil wrap and like that kind of stuff, it was called kitchen gadgets. Like, they used the word gadget at the supermarket. Not like, I don't know, miscellaneous kitchen items. Or I don't know what other word you'd use there. Gadget, I guess, makes sense. Like, a kitchen, items, kitchen, I don't know, wraps. I don't know. But the aisle was labeled kitchen gadgets. And I've never seen the word gadget in that kind of situation before. It was kind of like a worlds collide moment for me. So that was definitely something. But enough about me. I know that this show is all about me because I'm a narcissistic piece of garbage and I am better than everyone else. Thank you. The classic intro. Welcome, users, to Above It All, the show where I profess to you that I know more than you about literally everything. You couldn't even possibly begin to even attempt to lift your arm up in the attempt to try to hold a candle to the amount and the breadth of knowledge and wisdom that I have accrued in my 24 years of life. Cloud asks, how do you make your coffee? Instant coffee for me with a bit of chocolate mixed in. Not great. Yeah, that's definitely not good.
No good, really bad for you.
Really, really not good for you. I drink cold brew, black. That's how I have my coffee. So, I'm a little bit of a freakazoid. But 5 minutes into the show and I haven't said anything of substance yet. Let's change that. Awesome. So Donald Trump and Joe Biden, Joseph Robinette Biden II, I should say, because there was a first one. somehow. That is factual. There are two Joe Bidens. Maybe when Joe Biden was running for the United States Senate in South Carolina, when he said, "If you don't like me, vote for the other Biden," maybe he was talking about his dad. Maybe his dad is the other Biden, because there literally are two Joseph Robinette Bidens. There's two, and Joe Biden, the one that we know, is Joe Biden 2. And so I think when he was running in the United States Senate for the United States Senate in South Carolina, I think that's what he was talking about. I think we finally isolated and identified the other Biden. But enough about the other Biden and enough about this Biden. Let's talk about the debate. So the presidential campaigns, I suppose, have tried, I suppose, maybe, to get an idea as to when the second debate would happen, and it seems to have been scrapped altogether. Now, the second debate was originally intended to be a town hall format, where you have voters ask questions and then the candidates respond, and so that's not happening because of coronavirus. That might have been virtual, and then Donald Trump went on his tirade on Fox News. "I won't do a virtual debate. It's not real. Virtual debates, they're not real." So this wouldn't be the first debate that Donald Trump has been too scared to attend. He did ditch a debate in the 2016 Republican primary because one of the hosts and moderators was a little bit too mean to him on Twitter, and so he didn't show up to that debate. But either way, let's get some details here, shall we? The second presidential debate between President Donald Trump and Democratic nominee Joe Biden, slated for next week, has been canceled. The Commission on Presidential Debates announced on Friday, what the hell? The co-chair of the commission told NBC News on Friday that since both campaigns have indicated that they have other plans, the Miami face-off set for October 15th between the two candidates will not go as planned. Trump pulled out of that debate when the commission said it would be held remotely, and then Biden agreed to hold a town hall on ABC that night. Several networks are reportedly interested in having a Trump town hall that same night. The CPD will turn its attention, the Commission on Presidential Debates, this is not a police department, I know, get a little nervous sometimes, will turn its attention to preparations for the final presidential debate scheduled for October 22nd, the commission said in a statement. Imagine, you spend 4 years on this project. It's yes, right, I'm going to work on the Commission of Presidential Debates, right? Every 4 years, I'm in control, right? I'm in control of this little sliver of power every 4 years. And then Donald Trump comes around, destroys that shit. If anything, this should be returned to the League of Women Voters. I'd like to see Donald Trump say, "Women voters, I'm not going to their debate." I would love that. Nonetheless, the president's refusal to participate in the second debate has alarmed Republican strategists, who say it is the best chance he has to pitch his case directly to voters. The president has suggested holding campaign rallies over the remaining few weeks of the campaign. The NBC News national polling average showed the president trailing Biden by 10 percentage points. Some polls have Biden up close to 20 points, 16 to 18 I've seen. That final debate, to be moderated by Kristen Welker of NBC News, is still on, and both campaigns have agreed. It will be a stand-up traditional debate format. I know that Donald Trump is a huge fan of stand-up, but imagine being the moderator selected for the second debate, and then it's what? What? I just get skipped over? Really? My one chance of boosting my career, being on stage with the president, asking tough questions, my one chance to do that has been taken away. I would be pissed. I would be pissed to fuck off, personally. The commission recently announced it would host a virtual debate between Trump and Biden as safety precaution after the president was infected with COVID-19 and later hospitalized. Since being released from the hospital, Trump has boasted about his recovery and said he would not participate in a virtual debate. His campaign said that there is no medical reason to continue with a virtual debate since the president's doctors have said Trump can resume normal activities as early as Saturday. Now, it's important to note that Trump's doctors, all the medical personnel at Walter Reed, have signed non-disclosure agreements. Now, I'm not sure if those are necessarily valid, considering Donald Trump is a president and not a private business interest. But If we recall the press conference where news reporters were asking his doctor if he was on oxygen, the doctor specified he is not on oxygen right now. Now, the doctor could have said, no, he's never been on oxygen, the president's fine, but he chose not to. The doctor said he is not on oxygen right now. And when asked for a clarification, the doctor said he has not been on oxygen today. Very interesting ways to answer that question if you're someone who is apparently saying that Trump is good to go. So just throwing that out there. Is Trump actually good to go? That's a whole nother question for a whole nother video. I don't know. But either way, I'm pissed the fuck off. Because for me, right now, this is the part where I get angry. This is the part that I get enraged. For me, the fucking debates are fucking fun. I got high, I got drunk, I ate junk food during the last one, and I was planning, I was ready to do it again. And Donald Trump's beta pussy fucking loser campaign shite is like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm gonna deprive you of 90 minutes of obscene entertainment. Why? Why? Again, it's because Donald Trump is a crybaby. The guy's thin-skinned. He's a snowflake, folks. When things don't go exactly to the way he wants, he cries, he bitches, he moans, and he whines. And that is embarrassing. Imagine voting for a guy who wouldn't attend a debate in 2016 because one of the moderators was mean to him on Twitter. Imagine that's your guy. Imagine going after and supporting a guy who sued a comedian for calling him orange and saying he was his parents were orangutans. Right? Imagine going after that guy. That's your dude. That's the guy you're supporting. Snowflake McFuckface in chief. I love these presidential debates. I've been looking forward to this shit literally for 4 years. And this motherfucker, right, is not gonna fucking let me have 3 of them. Right? Like, I don't know, man. I'm pissed. I'm pissed. As a viewer, as an American, I'm pissed. But if this ends up with a Joe Rogan debate on November 2nd, hey, we'll go from there. But either way, headline here, Donald Trump 2 beta cancels the second presidential debate. I'll try to remember to make that my title. But yeah, what a disaster. What a disastrous disaster. And, fuck this guy. Let me write that down. Okay, what's poppin'? Skeptical Mentis. You brew it yourself, says Cloud. Yes, in the refrigerator and the mason jar. Don't bother voting for either one of these fascist pigs. Isn't that a Florida rally? A good chance for another super spreader event. I know. The super spreader thing is hilarious. Reminder that Donald Trump is not letting the CDC do any contact tracing because they don't want him to be discovered as patient 0 for the White House. What is Joe's views on the death penalty? Specifically, what is his view on the death penalty for treason? For instance, if someone gives out state secrets to foreign powers, for instance, to Russia. Interesting question, Cloud. I would presume that Joe Biden, like Barack Obama, would want to turn the page, right? You know, we got to go forward. Not, as Andrew Yang once said, not left, not right. We got to move forward, everybody. Humanity first. We got to turn the page. Anyone who's ever committed a crime, I mean, if they're poor, throw them in prison for the rest of their lives. But if they're rich, you know, that's bad. We're going to wag their fingers at them, right? But at the end of the day, we got to turn the page because they're too big to fail, so. Yeah, it sucks, says Itor. I was pumped for it too. Agreed? Dumb shit right there. Democrats gave the people nothing during the Ob-Zero years? Obamba? Oh, I get it. Because, you know, bombs, drone strikes. All right. That is one of the major reasons why we have Tramp. Absolutely, Skeptical Mantis. Thank you for posting a very basic but brief and to the point history lesson for the last 4 years for our new viewers here. Joe Rogan would be so based, though. A Rogan debate would be absolutely hilarious. And again, that would be like, what, 4 hours or some shit, right? Like, I am literally so down. Like, I remember watching all of the impeachment hearings live because I was like, this is historic, right? I'm going to watch this. Why not? And I deeply regret that. But, I am down for a 4-hour Joe Rogan sesh. I'm down to smoke like 15 cones. I'm down to drink like 15 gallons of coffee and maybe throw vodka in there. I'm down. 4 hours of Donald Trump and Joe Biden bickering, like, that sounds fucking amazing. I just want to play this again.
He was not a loser.
Are you talking about
I'm
Hunter?
talking about my son, Bo Biden. You're talking about
I don't know Bo. I know Hunter.
I don't know Bo. I know Hunter.
Hunter got thrown out of the military. He was thrown out, dishonorably discharged.
That's not true. He wasn't dishonorably.
Cocaine use.
And he didn't have a job.
So you became
And he didn't have a job. I love that shit. And he didn't have a job. Oh my God. And he didn't have a job. Didn't have one, Joe. You raised a bum. You raised a bum, Joe. You raised a bum. Jesus. Trump canceled his rally, so he must be feeling really bad, which is good. Trump canceled his rally? Which rally? Which rally did Trump cancel? Let me look this up. Let me get a live. Unless you're referring to the debate as a rally. I have not, yeah. I don't know what you're talking about. G-Wolf, I think you're feeding me fake news, everybody. I think G-Wolf is Russian insurgents sowing discord. Real secret sharing? Israel is probably the slam dunk. God bless. What do we do when Joe turns the page? I don't know, man. I hope Joe isn't one of those people that, like, wets their finger, when he turns the page. Like, I hate people that go, like, I gotta wet my finger. I gotta get my DNA all over this book. Like, what the fuck? Bro, do you need help? Like, it's a fucking page. It's not that hard to turn the page. You don't need to fucking slobber on the fucking page. You don't need to wet the paper, right? You don't need to render the book unusable for future generations because you have difficulty fucking turning a page. I hate those people. I hate those people. If you're a fucking wet page turner, go fuck yourself. And then also, I will not say that on a live stream. I'm trying to hold back from being an unprofessional piece of garbage here. Problem is, a Rogan debate would be a virtual debate, just eliminated as an option by Trump. I don't think that that's necessarily true. I really think we should prioritize what we as progressives want to push for as a top priority. Election reform, Medicare for all, actual accountability for Trump and his criminal... I don't think any of that is possible in the next few months. To have any sort of... First of all, we need leftist unity. We need, like, a left-wing umbrella that we can all agree with, and Bernie was the best shot at that, and that's gone. So we're going to have to pick up the pieces for the next couple of years, I think. But that's just me. He was going to hold a rally in Florida instead of the debate. Oh, did he pull out of that? Okay. That's funny. Speaking of funny, and this is something I want to underscore. This is really, 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 really funny. And I'm one of these people, like, again, I'm above it all, right? So Donald Trump is saying, I feel strong. Right? And he's apparently going to do a rally in front of the White House. Now, I'm bringing you this story right now. I'm bringing this to you right now, Saturday morning, and this clip will probably be isolated and uploaded at some point in the afternoon. So this event may have already happened, but I want to read to you. He's planning a rally in front of the White House with apparently what will potentially be upwards of 2,000 attendees. So that should be fun. President Trump, in his first televised interview since he announced that he had tested positive for the coronavirus, said Friday night that he was medication-free and back to normal a week after he was hospitalized after having trouble breathing. I feel very strong, he said. Now, again, he's planning a debate, right? So he feels very, very strong. Believe me, I'm the strongest president. There have never been a president. Even the previous president and the president before that, I'm the strongest one alive, right? That's Donald Trump. President Trump is planning to host up to 2,000 people on the south lawn of the White House on Saturday for his first in-person event since he announced he had tested positive for the coronavirus. 3 people familiar with the plans said on Friday. And his campaign announced that he would hold a rally in Florida on Monday. Interesting. Now, I don't know if that's actually happening. We'll see. This point onward, anything can change. Trump can collapse in the middle of an event and then get rehospitalized. And honestly, I'm looking forward to that, right? But this is just the idea that these people are just so afraid of acknowledging that COVID is real, even after the president gets it. Reminder, Donald Trump was like, don't let it dominate you. If you get hurt, if you get sick, we give you the best medical care. Now, I know that I got experimental medicine that is only available to me because I'm president, but if you get sick, just say my name. Like at the pawn store, say that President Trump sent you. Say that Trump sent you, and then they'll give you the special treatment. Show them my card. Yeah, my business card. Just give them the secret code. Do the secret handshake, and then they'll give you the fetus stem cells for your treatment. Believe me, it will be tremendous. Unbelievable. Goddamn. The president was expected to make remarks from one of the balconies of the White House to the crowd. More than 2,000 invitations went out for the event. Imagine being invited to the White House after Donald Trump has given the coronavirus to upwards of 30 people. The event, which was first reported by ABC News, continues Mr. Trump's pattern of using the White House for political events, as he did with the speech to the Republican National Convention in August. Some in the White House and on the Trump campaign expressed concern that the event would serve to underscore existing criticism that Mr. Trump has been cavalier about a virus that has killed over 210,000 Americans. And again, Trump has been manipulating the data that the CDC is putting out, so I think it's probably closer to 250,000 than 210,000, but that's just me. The event will come just 2 weeks after a Rose Garden celebration of the nomination of Judge Amy Coney Barrett to the Supreme Court, an event that the White House officials are looking at as the possible source of an outbreak of the coronavirus that has infected Mr. Trump, the First Lady, and at least 24 other people. Mr. Trump, I also love how news media and shit calls him Mr. Trump. I just love that. Mr. Trump is also planning to hit the campaign trail again, even as outside medical experts caution that doing so could pose risks to himself and others. Hey, posing risks to himself? Heh, let him go. Let him have as many rallies as he wants, buddy. Come on, man. Let him have some fun. The campaign announced that he would deliver remarks at a Make America Great Again event at Orlando Sanford International Airport on Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Apparently, over the last 4 years of being president, America has yet to be made great. Now we have rioters and looters burning down every city in America. Donald Trump's running on a law and order platform, even though he's already a president right now. It's really interesting. I thought, we were to elect you 4 years ago. You make America great again, right? Because it used to be great at some unidentifiable point in the past, right? So it used to be great. We got to make it great again. And instead, all I got were bread riots. Instead, all I got were 250,000 dead Americans. Instead, all I got was the Great Depression. Really? Come on, Trump. You're really fucking me over here. Attendees at the Florida event will be asked to sign a disclaimer stating that you and any guests voluntarily assume all risks related to exposure for COVID-19. Then there are the potential risks Mr. Trump could pose to others. According to the CDC guidelines, people with mild to moderate cases of COVID most likely remain infectious no longer than 10 days after symptom onset. Joseph Robinette Biden, too, said on Friday of the planned rally, I wouldn't show up unless you had a mask and were distanced. Joe Biden's like, I'm going to do exactly what the CDC says and not add any artistic flair whatsoever. I really hate that. So I'm just going to wear a mask and social distance. Reminder, the social distance guidelines were developed before we even really realized that COVID was an aerosolized disease, right? We were still fucking spraying down grocery bags and fucking washing our hands 38 fucking times a minute, right? When the 6 feet guidelines were developed. 6 feet is not safety, folks. 6 feet is an absolute minimum. 6 feet is you must be this tall to ride, and you're literally as tall as the sign says and you're barely squeaking by, that's 6 feet. In reality, you should be 12 to 24 feet. In fact, you should be as far away from these anti-masker pieces of shit as possible. And that's my opinion. Whenever I'm at a grocery store, right, and we're in thin aisles and I see an anti-masker down the aisle, I literally make a cartoon of it. And you can ask anyone in my family because they get embarrassed when I do this. What I love doing is I love doing this against like the aisle wall, like as obnoxiously as possible, right? So they like get really freaked out by the fact that I'm like actually afraid of them. And to me, I think that's funny. I like acting like a cartoon character in real life, right? And you can call me a fool, you can call me a clown, and all of those things would be accurate and true. But what's funny about it is the person that I'm interacting with in this scenario instantly knows why I'm doing that. And I've only gotten a few people call me a commie, right? Only a few people, right? But for the most part, people just chuckle and ignore and then move on very quickly. They know they're a piece of shit. They know that they're a safety hazard. They know that they're garbage for the most part. But at least they have the dignity most of the time. Now, again, I live in a red state, so most people here are anti-maskers, right? Most people here are against washing their hands, not even 38 times a minute, but 38 times a month, right? That's pushing it for these people, right? I understand that, right? But most of these people, they're too afraid of confrontation. They're too afraid of saying, God dang commies, God dang rioter and looter in this grocery store buying some popcorn, God damn it, right? Like, again, these people are freaks of nature, and they need to be treated as such. So if me acting like a cartoon character helps that, I'll do it. And if Donald Trump wants to go out there, potentially collapsing while walking up the stairs to Air Force One in a couple days from now, hey, I'm just here to report the news. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, Sanders has blown his credibility wad twice now. But this is America, and nobody remembers a minute ago. Sanders has blown his credibility. I think anyone that says that is somewhat of a dullard, I think. I think that's something that makes no sense, I think. But that's just me. Bernie is not gone. Bernie is not gone, but the campaign is gone. The umbrella for organizing is gone. That's what I meant to say. Skeptical Mantis says Trump must be very strong because Biden didn't challenge him to a push-up contest. Exactly. I would love to see Donald Trump and Joe Biden get their words straight, Jack. Trump collapse? Fuck yes. I mean, hey, it might happen. Hello, Marksman Gato. Trump is a king. Great message. Russian agent provided good information, ergo, you should always trust Putin to tell the truth in a Pompeo v. Putin truth or dare. Pompeo v. Putin, and that's definitely something I'm not interested in as far as having a debate. But I do have a Pompeo clip here because it was funny. So that's a good segue. We'll go right into that. Hello, Ilya Dastovkan. Above it all, number 992. Can you hear me? Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you. Bernie was playing his own followers. He gave the election away twice. I think that is something that a dullard would say. Bernie was playing his followers. No, I disagree. Yeah, I mean, I can do a broader talk about like the Bernie haters. But, I don't know if I'm going to do that. Maybe I'll do that after the show. Obsidian Monolith, if you're talking about Trump, yes, absolutely a forfeit. Absolutely. But if y'all want to have a conversation on whether or not Bernie is evil and was secretly playing and is controlled opposition, I'm down. But let's have that later. If anyone wants to show up in like 2 or 3 hours from now, and then we'll have that conversation at that point, I'm open to it. But I don't want to bog down this podcast with talking about Bernie. I really don't. But I'll read your comments. I'll read your comments if you do. Ever since he had the election stolen in 2016, it was obvious that he would do it again because he's never challenged the Democrats cheating. I'm not a psychic, but I saw it coming for years. Yeah. No, I disagree. Now, again, I worked on the campaign. I know and have had conversations with a lot of people that worked on the campaign. I know people that worked for the campaign. I went on road trips, right, to do canvassing in other states that I don't live in, right? So, like, I'm very familiar, right, with the campaign and how the organization was working and who was organizing for the Bernie campaign. And so with that knowledge, I can routinely and roundly say that the campaign was not just about becoming president. The campaign was more about bringing people that otherwise would not have ever had any excuse to meet each other. And I met a lot of people, and I made a lot of connections, and there's a lot of people that have also made their connections under the Bernie campaign. So I don't now obviously, yes, the election was stolen. That's correct. But I don't think that necessitates Bernie being controlled opposition. Because if that were the case, the Bernie campaign, from a structural point of view, would not have been even remotely the same. They would have not done half the shit that they had done to build community organization and community solidarity. Half of the things on the campaign platform would not have been there. The structure of the campaign would not have been there. The people in charge of the campaign would not have been there if it were controlled opposition. There is no way to explain the fact that Bernie pretended 2016 cheating never happened. I think 2016 he was cheated, 2020 he gave it away. I think he was cheated both of them. But also Bernie is old and a United States senator. So those are two things we have to keep in mind. We're not talking to 1960s like Bernie Sanders. We're talking to 2010s Bernie Sanders. And those are two different things. But either way, if y'all want to actually talk about Bernie and the 2020 campaign and all this stuff, because this is something I would love to talk about, let's talk about it in a couple of hours. I'm going to do another show. And if you want to show up and we'll talk about it then, that's fine. But we'll put a pin in this and let's talk about something that's more pressing. Something that I think is breaking news. And this is something that reaches across the aisle. I think that Republicans, Democrats, people that hate both parties, people with IQs below and above 1, right? I think that they are all capable of agreeing to me with me that this is breaking news. So, Secretary of State Mike Pompeo has brought to you and us this is breaking news, everybody. This came out yesterday. Not even 24 hours old, this breaking news has surfaced. It was below the surface. Now it is above the surface. Like that Egyptian mummy that we found, right? Now we're opening up the casket. We're opening up the tomb. Who knows what's going to come out? So Hillary Clinton's emails, everybody. Her emails are continuing to be exposed. And let's be honest. This is not looking good for the 2020 election. Hillary in the polls, I don't even think she's polling well against. She's not polling well against Donald Trump. And that you people might be saying that it's because the people are not having her listed in the polling, which I think is a cover-up, personally. We all know I'm a huge Hillary Clinton fan. Love that bitch. She's great. Yes, queen. I've watched the Hulu documentary series at least 30 times. And the idea that her emails are coming to light and will hurt her in this election, I think, is a huge problem. So let's watch.
This investigation into Hillary Clinton's emails at the State Department.
So, Dana, you'll remember I was close to this even when I was a member of Congress, when I served on the Benghazi committee now, what seems like a little bit time ago. We've got the emails. We're getting them out. We're going to get all this information out so the American people can see it. You'll remember there was classified information on a private server. It should have never been there. Hillary Clinton should never have done that. There. It was unacceptable behavior. It's not the kind of thing that leaders do. They don't put that kind of information out, and you can see whether it's Russia or China or Iran or the North Koreans who want to get their hands on this kind of information. Classified information needs to stay in the right places. Secretary Clinton.
Now, I understand the argument here against Hillary Clinton's emails 4 years later. If this is Mike Pompeo's version of an October surprise, I'm very skeptical of the efficacy. But I would like to remind everyone that Donald Trump was impeached over very, very, very poor foreign policy. So going after Hillary Clinton's foreign policy, which is bad, mind you, when Donald Trump's is even worse, I find that to be a very curious strategy. Now, again, Donald Trump is not an outsider. He's not saying he's going to end the wars and then we don't know what's going to happen. Donald Trump has exacerbated the wars. He has drone striked more people and more families than Obama did in 8 years. Donald Trump is a disaster when it comes to foreign policy. So the idea that they're going to say Hillary Clinton's emails 4 years into a Trump presidency, where they didn't do any of their promises from 2016, I think that's a little weird. It's definitely strange.
When she was here at the State Department, did not do that.
The president has the authority to declassify anything he wants. All authority is to him. Could he declassify it and order it released if he wanted to and if he ordered?
Absolutely. We're going to get there. We're going to get this information out so the American people can see it.
If he were to order that, would there be concern?
I wonder how QAnon is going to intersect with the latest batches of Hillary emails.
About maybe health and safety of sources or methods that could possibly be in these emails if there's classified information?
So, Dana, I've been at this a long time with President Trump for 4 years now almost. I've never seen him do anything that would put any kind of asset, any kind of one of our officers in any harm's way. He wouldn't do that. We'll get the information out that needs to get out.
Right. Okay. So Donald Trump would never put foreign combatants, or rather our soldiers, into situations where foreign combatants would hurt them. That's why, right, he assassinated a top military general as soon as the year started in Iran, and then Iran launched a counterattack on a military base. And then when the people sustained injuries from that attack, Donald Trump was like, oh, they're just headaches. They're fine. Even though a lot of these people have actual brain trauma, hemorrhaging, a lot of long-term effects that still haven't recovered, because Donald Trump really cares about the military. That's why he calls them suckers and losers, because he really cares about the military. That's why he wouldn't show up at Arlington because it was raining and he didn't want his hair to be wet, because he really cares about the military.
Any kind of one of our officers in any harm's way. He wouldn't do that. We'll get the information out that needs to get out. We'll do it in a way that protects the intelligence sources that we need to protect.
And last question on that, will that happen before the election?
Doing it as fast as we can. I certainly think there'll be more to see before the election.
All right.
Yes, exactly. Again, Mike Pompeo has really cracked the code here. Hillary Clinton's emails. You think we forgot about her emails? You think when she lost, right, her hopefully, right, like knock on wood here. I don't have any wood near me, but actually I do. I'm gonna knock on that wood, right? Hillary Clinton doesn't run again in 2024 or like whatever. Hopefully she, just stays somewhere in the shadows, right? But assuming maybe this is all like they're just making sure, like Hillary Clinton's going to run in 2032, right? And they're going to make sure we have those emails. They're going to have seriously, I'm just wondering what it is their strategy is here, because I don't know. The idea about talking about Hillary's emails in the year 2020, I mean, come on, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. It's embarrassing. Speaking of embarrassing, let's read some chat message remarks. Okay. All right. Okay. So, Skeptical Mantis. First of all, I would like to invite you to have a voice debate. I would love to have a conversation with you about what you're saying in my chat room over a Discord call or StreamYard or any other thing. If you have a webcam and a microphone, I implore you to have a conversation with me about the idea that Trump beating Biden is the lesser evil. I would love to have a conversation about that. That seems like something I wouldn't. And being who I am very interested in that. So, throwing that out there, open invitation. Anyway, let me get on with my show. We'll get on to that later, but let me get on with my show, because this is my show. I make the rules. So, Lindsey Graham, not to be confused with the cracker, of which I do not have any sort of other meanings to that term, but there are graham crackers. They do exist. I've eaten them. Comes out, there was a debate that he canceled because he's afraid to take a COVID test. And what instead they did was 2 separate interviews in his Senate race between himself and Jamie Harrison, I believe his name is. And people are asking Lindsey Graham, what about black people in South Carolina, right? How are they, what's going on there, right? This is what Lindsey Graham has to say.
I care about everybody. If you're a young African American, an immigrant, you can go anywhere in this state. You just need to be conservative, not liberal. I care about everybody. If you're a young African American, an immigrant, you can go anywhere in this state. You just need to be conservative, not liberal. I care about everybody. If you're a young African American, an immigrant, you can go anywhere in this state. You just need to be conservative, not liberal.
What does that mean? Let me listen to that again. I'm just like, what?
I care about everybody. If you're a young African American, an immigrant, you can go anywhere in this state. You just need to be conservative, not liberal.
So yeah, if you're a conservative, right, we'll bring you on board because we've only got like 5 black people in the Republican Party. So we'll bring you on board. We'll give you a bunch of money, maybe give you a few book deals. But if you're liberal, fuck them. Fuck them. You can get shot in the streets. Who cares? Police can just arrest you willy-nilly and then just like let you go 3 days later after you've been infected with COVID-19 in a jail cell somewhere in a holding cell. That's fine. Cops can just shoot you and kill you indiscriminately in the street. That's cool. Everything's good with that. As long as you're a liberal and not a conservative. All that stuff is fine. If you're a conservative, just tell the cops. Just tell them like, hey, yo, I'm conservative. I voted for Trump. Come on, cop. The cops surely, right, in this context, right, because there was a case recently, and I'm going to talk about this a little bit later, where someone posted good things about cops online, and then they got shot and killed by cops, because guess what? Cops don't care if you're a conservative. Cops don't care if you wrote a book about how Donald Trump is destroying the swamp or whatever. Cops don't care about any of that shit, right? Nobody cares. And the idea that Lindsey Graham is going to come out here and say that, oh yeah, we give everything to the blacks. We love the blacks. The blacks are great as long as they're conservative. As long as they do what we say, right? As long as they follow our orders, as long as they follow our commands, we love the blacks. We'll give them everything, right? We take good fucking care of our African American people in the state of South Carolina as long as they agree with us. What kind of fucking message is this? It's bizarre. It's bizarre. Especially when Lindsey Graham is running against a black man. It's weird. It's strange. This is some like really like, I know Lindsey Graham is terrible. I know this guy's a dumb motherfucker. I'm fully like, right? Like, I'm aware of that. But like, wow, like, is this guy trying to pressure himself into an early retirement? What is going on here? It's super bizarre. It's so bizarre. But this is the absolute state of the South Carolina Senate race. We're looking at a situation where like the Democrats might take the Senate. Like, if you would have talked to me earlier this year, I would have been, I wouldn't know. But there's a lot of polls. Georgia, for example, it looks like Georgia might have 2 Republican Senate seats switching to Democrat, right? South Carolina has the Lindsey Graham race. North Carolina has the Tom Tillis race. And even though Cal Cunningham is a sexter, I'm still going to vote for the fucker because he's better than Tom Tillis, by the way, who has coronavirus, right? There's so many Senate races that are just like right on that point. Trump, as far as the national Republican strategy, is failing. He is doing the absolute worst thing possible if he wants to get reelected. He's now shitting all over stimulus talks. An absolute disaster. And you have all these Senate Republicans who are nothing without Donald Trump. They are nothing without Donald Trump. They are just riding on the Trump coattails at this point because that's all they got left. That's all they got left. And you can see Lindsey Graham here. Just, he's got nothing. The guy's all dried up. He's like a raisin. He's done. Just throw him in the trash. He's not even a good raisin. He's one of those raisins that like isn't even good. Like you kind of chew on it and it's like ugh, and then you spit it out. Like that's what Lindsey Graham is, and not to be of course confused with the graham cracker, which on the other hand is delicious, and I would never spit that out. But that's what I have to say about this motherfucker, this dumbass hoe. That's what I got to say. Whew. Lord have mercy. This chat room is getting a little bit too Jimmy Dore for my liking. And again, I'm not saying anyone has to stop. I'm just making a comment in the abstract. This chat room is looking a little bit Jimmy Dore-ish, so I'm just throwing that out there. Maybe we can work on that. Yeah, again, the idea that Trump is better than Biden is dumb. Like, I'm sorry. That's just something that a stupid person would say. Trump being better than Clinton, how did that work? How did that work out? All I know is if I didn't have insurance right now, I would have to pay a hell of a lot more money for my hormone medication. And I know dozens of trans people personally, that I've spoken to that have had their care diminished under the Trump administration. But, and I know that thousands of people that I haven't spoken to have gone through that. I know immigrants have lost body parts. Their uteruses have been stolen from them during the Trump administration. So the whole idea that Trump will be better than Biden, that got debunked. That's, as far as I'm concerned, that's just in the conspiracy theory QAnon range. Like, that's just like one of those like weird branches of QAnon where it's like, yeah, we know Trump's not great, but he's better than Biden. He's going to drain the swamp. Yeah, he didn't do anything in the first 4 years. Give him another 4 years, then he won't do it again. But it's okay because then we've like, it's just, what's the strategy? It's dumb. It's really dumb. But again, if you want to debate Skeptical Mantis, I'm down. Like, it's just, it's a stupid debate. It's dumb. Like, you can say that Trump is bad. I'll let you. It's okay. Like, no one's going to hurt you for saying Trump is bad. Like, no one's going to hurt you for saying Biden is bad. Like, they're both bad. But one of them will not revoke trans health care. One of them will not fucking destroy the DACA program. One of them has promised, and we'll see how that goes, and they could be lying, absolutely, but one of them has promised to decriminalize marijuana, which will change the lives of millions of people. And if they lie about that and get into office on that lie, we already have a left-wing base that will not forget about that. So this whole strategy of voting for Trump or wanting Trump to, it's just dumb. And I can't help but assume that y'all just don't, like, you're well off. 60% of people can't pay their rent right now. Like, I can't for the life of me figure out how, if you couldn't pay rent, or if you're transgender and your healthcare, like, costs 15 times more, or if you've got family members that are in the DACA program, I can't understand how you would think that Trump is better than Biden. I really can't. You think if Trump wins, right-wing violence will be more complacent? Look what happened in Charlottesville. And again, I would rather have this debate in a format that doesn't have you in the chat message like 30 seconds after I speak. I would rather do this one-on-one. But like, Charlottesville, dude, like, hasn't gotten any better under Trump. Hasn't gotten any better. So, do I think they're mostly rich people who don't vote? No, dude. Like, no. Most people don't vote because they don't care about politics. And because politics has excluded them from the process. And because of voter suppression. Right? Like, they're not rich. Come on, man. Like, who do you think I am? A fucking MSNBC anchor? Come on, man. What are you doing? Come on, man. Ridiculous stuff. I'm not reading comments, by the way, because I'm driving. Well, you're writing comments. I would say that reading comments, Cloud. By the way, there's a cat! Oh my god! Holy shit. There's a deer. There's a... Okay, you just crashed the car. Good job. But I would say writing a comment is probably much worse than reading a comment if you're driving. But hey, who am I? I don't have a driver's license. I've never driven a car in my life. Maybe I don't know. I find it difficult to believe that if Hillary Clinton were president right now, we would have open and out neo-Nazis in the streets to the degree that we have them. I find it hard to believe that we would have gangs like Blue Lives Matter hosting rallies around the country to protect cops. I find it hard to believe. I really do. I really find it hard to believe that anything that you describe would happen. I really do. But again, I would love to have this debate in a voice call. I'm so sorry. Like, I'm so sorry. I would love to have this debate in a voice call. Like, I'm not running away from anything. I'm whatever. But I'm going to get on to my next story. So, this was a situation that I have not covered much on my channel, if at all, because I didn't have that many details, and every time I went to go maybe look into it, I would rather have done something else. But I'm going to finally talk about Jonathan Pryce, because there's been some new rounds of information that have come out. And if you don't know, Jonathan Pryce was shot and killed by apparently a 22-year-old police officer who, when he was a teenager, was supportive of Republicans, like very against Black Lives Matter, posted very racist things, right? And then they became a cop under the Trump administration, and then they shot and killed people. And so that seems to be the situation here, again, if I've got my details correct. So I'm just going to read to you this article from the Atlanta Black Star. Jonathan Pryce is the latest black man to become a hashtag after being killed by a police officer. Now, details have emerged that reveal Pryce, 31, tried to shake Wolf County police officer Sean Lucas's hand before he was gunned down by him. An affidavit by Texas Rangers obtained by CBS Dallas Fort Worth says Lucas was greeted by a male subject, later identified as Jonathan Dwayne Pryce. Pryce came very close to the officer and asking him, "You doing good?" multiple times while extending his hand in a handshake gesture. Now, this is one thing I want to say, and this is something that needs to be underscored. To all the people that are posting Blue Lives Matter, right? All these people, I love cops. Trump 2020, US. I hope to God that they see that. Like, I hope to God that there is someone sending those comments to your local police department, and I hope they all memorize your face. Because guess what, motherfucker? If you like cops, cops don't care. They don't know what you're posting on Twitter. They don't know what you're posting on Facebook. They will still beat the shit out of you because they don't care. Right? They just don't give a fuck. And if they do know, right? If they do know, maybe they'll treat you a little better, right? Look at the Proud Boys. Look at Patriot Front. Look at Patriot Prayer. Look at Boogaloo Boys. Look at all these fucking neo-Nazi organizations that are running through the streets, working with law enforcement. Look at the Kenosha shooter, Kyle Rittenhouse, coordinating with law enforcement, right? If they know who you are and they know that you love them, maybe they'll help you. But if you're just on your Facebook page, man, my brother-in-law's cousin's sister's nephew was a cop, and they're a pretty good guy. I had to talk to him 3 times at a Christmas party. They don't care. They don't give a fuck, okay? And this is a situation, and I hate to be that kind of person to jump on this kind of story of someone dying, right? But this needs to be a lesson that is learned. You don't treat cops with that kind of respect. You don't treat cops like they're normal people, because they're not. They are an occupying terror force. That's what they are. And that needs to be understood by everybody. Everybody. Black, white, Asian, Hispanic, right? Like, man, woman, non-binary especially, right? Queer. You need to know that cops are not your friend. I don't give a fuck if you're rich. I don't give a fuck. Like, the cops are not your friend. Straight up. They're just not. According to statements from witnesses, Pryce was trying to defend a woman involved in a domestic dispute at a convenience store in Wolf City, Texas. Sometime after 8 p.m. on Saturday, October 3rd, police were called to the scene. And when Lucas arrived, Pryce tried to explain the situation. Still, Lucas tried to detain Pryce. The affidavit said Pryce walked away and said, "I can't be detained," which prompted the 6'1", 240-pound Lucas to first tase him. Then, after Pryce turned around and began walking toward Lucas, shoot him 4 times, hitting him in the upper torso. Pryce later died at a nearby hospital. The actions of Officer Lucas were not objectionably. I'm so sorry. I'm having a little bit of like a haven't eaten breakfast, coffee-induced kind of like, you know, I'm in that state of mind. Objectionably reasonable. Investigators determined adding Lucas intentionally and knowingly caused the death of Price, right? But, right, past social media posts from Price taking up for the police in which he described never experiencing mistreatment at the hands of cops were shared widely in the days since his slaying. In a Facebook post dated June 15th, Price wrote, "I've passed the sobriety test after leaving a bar in Wiley, Texas by 2 white cops and still let me drive where I was headed. And by the way, they consider Wiley, Texas to be very racist. I've never got that kind of energy from the popo. Not saying black lives don't matter, but don't forget about your own or your experiences through growth and waking up." Price also said protesters were increasing the chances of black people getting pulled over by police due to an idiotic stunt and aggressive rioting. Again, you coming out against poor people and workers, right? That gives you nothing. That doesn't make the cops your friend, right? That you think that you develop a parasocial relationship with police. You think that they're your friends. They're not your friends, dude. And sincerely, please don't act like they are. Many called out what they saw as the irony that Price's views didn't serve him well in his encounter with Lucas. Some even said his affability toward police ultimately cost him his life. You won't survive white supremacy by uplifting your oppressor or their ideas. He may not have learned it, but maybe others will learn by this incident, one user wrote, and I agree with that. But again, the idea that police officers who are very young and have a history of right-wing beliefs and anti-black sentiments can become police officers, have a gun, and are given the authority to shoot and kill people is ridiculous. To me, it is ridiculous. To me, and again, and I don't want to utilize this story to promote my political agenda because, I don't. But at the same time, you need to know that this is a class war. Police are serving the rich, okay? So if you make under $500,000 a year, the cops don't give a fuck about you. And if you make over $500,000 a year, depending on other things like your race, right? Your fucking eye color, right? Your fucking hair, right? Depending on your fucking gender, cops might still not care about you, right? So the idea that there is going to be people out there that are simping for cops, right? While being poor and knowing poor people and coming from poor families is ridiculous to me. When I see people in my family talk about how my sister's cousin's nephew's boyfriend's dog was a police officer, it's like, I don't give a fuck. They're garbage. And maybe they personally aren't a terrible person, but they're upholding a terrible system. And at least when they put on the uniform, they are enacting as terrible people. Does that mean they're irredeemable? No. Does that mean they're not rehabilitative? They're not rehabilitatable? I'm so sorry. I don't know what that word is. No, it's not. But it means that they're not your friends. They're wolves in sheep's clothing if they want you to think otherwise, okay? And I would argue that they're a wolf in wolf's clothing, but these motherfuckers who say my best friend's cousin's sister's daughter-in-law is a cop, right? They need to shut the fuck up because that's how they get you, right? That's how they get you. Cops are not your friend. Always treat cops with skepticism. Don't try to shoot them down. Don't try to run away from them, but treat them with skepticism. Be careful. Be cautious when dealing with police. Don't pretend that they're your friends because they don't see you as friends, right? They see you as an enemy at all times. And that is why people are getting shot. That is why people are being killed. That is why people are being injured by police every single day. And I just, again, I wanted to hop on this story and, of course, thoughts, prayers, anything that I could potentially give to the family, which I can't outside of that. But this needs to be something that people need to know is that cops are not your friend. I don't care if you drove home drunk from a bar and a cop let you off that one time. I don't care. That really doesn't do anything to me. But again, rest in peace, Jonathan Price, for sure. This is not a situation that should occur in any capacity, but it's what we're dealing with when we have a terror cell that has some sort of state-sanctioned authority to kill anyone. And it doesn't matter if Lucas gets sent to prison because Jonathan Price is still dead. So, at the end of the day, That's what happens. Also, the chat, I noticed the chat was being extremely epic. Yeah. Hello, Victory Jin. Hello, David Drake. What's poppin'? Yeah, I think Skeptical Mantis is a Jimmy Dore fan. And that's not to say that, you know, I dislike you. That's to say that there's some work that needs to be done. I did not say, just for reference, she said she doesn't think the right-wing gangs would be running around if Clinton won. I did not say that. I said the degree of which they would be running around is a lot different. Yes, the Tea Party exists. Yes, right-wing groups exist. But tiki torch-bearing neo-Nazis going through a town, right? And having the President of the United States call them very fine people. Doesn't matter if he retracted it later. They got the message, okay? That is something that emboldens these people. Would they still exist? Absolutely. Would they be as emboldened? No. That is the point I'm trying to make. Yeah, I don't know, man, cops suck. In Norway, a white nationalist bombed government buildings and then went to execute a bunch of kids, motivated by Islamophobia, went downhill from there. That was 2011. Yeah, international terrorism is a big deal. It's a big deal. Skeptical Mantis. When Biden and Clinton wrote their crime bill, that damaged black and brown communities more than the Proud Boys or any right-wing gang ever did. Absolutely correct. We're in no disagreement there. But at the same time, that's irrelevant to the conversation. So, did you hear about Trump talking about how he beat Biden in the second debate? I did not. I did not see that. I did not see that, actually. What else do I have lined up here? I got so many fucking tabs. Let's talk about some right-wing violence. Let's have that conversation. All right. Let's have that conversation. So here is the sheriff of a Michigan town where the residents were caught trying to perform a plot to kidnap the governor, to liberate Michigan. Because Donald Trump tweeted out, "Liberate Michigan," and these guys were like, you know what? That's a good idea. And so here's what the sheriff has to say about this situation.
County Sheriff Darleaf, who does say he knows these guys. He, quote, has never had lunch with them or anything like that, but has ran into them at some of these rallies. He said they've always been nice and respectful to him, adding they deserve a fair trial.
Michael and William Null were among the first charged Thursday for their alleged roles in the plot to kidnap Governor Gretchen Whitmer. The brothers from Plainwell and Shelbyville are now charged with providing support for terroristic acts, on top of weapons charges. Their West Michigan homes raided Wednesday night.
Was able to hear them say, FBI, have a warrant for your arrest. Come out with your hands up.
A neighbor of William Null spoke with Fox 17 under the condition of anonymity. They witnessed the raid and were shocked hearing what it was related to.
I had heard that there was a lot of militia people. Their right to do so, but to the extent that we just found out last night, totally surprised about that.
The Null brothers had ties to militia groups and were frequently seen at local demonstrations, including at this rally in protest of Governor Whitmer's stay-at-home order held last May in Grand Rapids. You can see William Null on stage alongside Barry County Sheriff Dar Leaf, a guest speaker at the event. We spoke with Sheriff Leaf Thursday night.
Well, I haven't read everything up on it. I've got other duties to do. It wasn't our investigation. So I was shocked. I did not see this coming with those guys, but still, we can't convict them in the news media here. They do have a right to a fair trial.
Leaf says he doesn't know of Null's alleged involvement in the plot and doesn't have any regrets about sharing a stage with him.
Do you have any regrets from being on stage, sharing a stage with a guy who's now being charged in a plot to kidnap the governor?
Well, it's just a charge, and they say a plot to kidnap. And you got to remember that, are they trying to kidnap? Because a lot of people are angry with the governor, and they want her arrested. So are they trying to arrest, or was it a kidnap attempt? Because you can still, in Michigan, if it's a felony, you can make a felony arrest. And I think it's MCL 764.4 or something like that, 0.5, somewhere around there. And it doesn't say if you're an elected office that you're exempt from that arrest. So I have to look at it from that angle, and I'm hoping that's more what it is. In fact, these guys are innocent until proven guilty, so I'm not even sure if they had any part in it.
Dude. These fucking sheriffs, man. These people are crazy. These people are fucking nuts. I would like to just go on a national level here. Remember when Michael Ryanel shot and killed someone in Portland who was a Trump supporter? And then Donald Trump ordered, like, a secret fucking military agency to go in and execute him by shooting him 40 times without a trial? I guess Michael Ryanel wasn't innocent until proven guilty. But you can plot to kidnap a governor and try to perform a coup in the state of Michigan. Innocent till proven guilty. That's just the way things are. We have a legal process. We have due process. Isn't that interesting? Super bizarre how that works. Super fucking bizarre. And again, if you need any more evidence that the sheriff of this fucking whatever the fuck is in bed with these white supremacist gangs, whether or not he realizes who he's talking to or what he's saying to certain people and what that's providing, if you have any doubt in your mind about that, holy shit, man, you deserve an award for being like the most agnostic, skeptical person on planet Earth. Because this kind of shit is fucking awful. It's awful. First of all, having sheriffs speak at anti-lockdown protests. There are sheriffs in like Florida, Michigan, Texas that are like, we will not let anyone wear masks in our district. If someone is caught wearing a mask in our county, they will be questioned about it. And if someone is asking someone else to wear a mask, they will be fined. We will have to intervene. Right? It's like, what? Dude, these sheriffs are a huge problem. These sheriffs are a huge fucking problem. They're really bad. And a lot of them, again, are connected to these organizations. And it's a huge problem. Nothing else to say on that one. Nothing else. Nothing else. But yeah, that about wraps up today's show. So, thank you for watching. Again, Skeptical Mantis, if you want to talk about Bernie being controlled opposition and why Jimmy Doris should be president and why Tulsi Gabbard is hot, I will accept your outreach. Here is my Discord. You have to use the capital A, and if you want to DM me, I'm there. But yeah, this is a little bit of a longer show. I don't know. I don't really have a set time. I guess an hour is my set time. I'm also playing with my toes, if you're wondering. I'm just playing with my toes right now. Some foot content for you. But when I drink a lot of coffee on an empty stomach, I fidget a lot, and sometimes I play with my toes. So there's a little bit of lore for you as far as how I behave as a person. Yeah. Yeah, so today's schedule, by the way, the reason why I haven't been streaming over the last few days is because my brother is moving and having a temporary leave of absence from my living location. He is moving with his girlfriend for a little bit. We don't know how long it is because there's a pandemic, so plans are kind of out of the question. So I've been hanging out with him over the past few days. We uploaded a video you can watch, Spook Forcular episode 6. We played War of the Monsters. That was fun. So that's why I haven't really been streaming over the past couple of days. But he is gone. That motherfucker is gone. Okay, so I don't have to worry about him ever again. And that, there's a lot of positives and negatives about that. But one of the positives is I don't need to watch movies with him because he's not leaving anymore. He's already left. So I will be streaming again. I will be finishing Castlevania. Well, maybe not finishing. It depends. But I will be trying to finish Castlevania at some point today. That's something I will try to do. I will probably be playing more Path of Exile. So that's another thing I will be trying to do. we'll see how that goes. Tomorrow is Sunday. And Sunday is a run day. And that's how we do it here, folks. So tomorrow, I will be playing Resident Evil 4. I will be playing Resident Evil 4 tomorrow. I got one of these situations where all my game cases have the wrong game in it, and I'm just like doing this now. I'm just trying to fix this. But yeah, so that's the idea here. Resident Evil 4 will be tomorrow. I will also be playing Dark Souls tomorrow. Dark Souls, you gotta love Dark Souls. Love me some Dark Souls. So, Dark Souls will be happening tomorrow as well. And that should be fun. I don't know what else I'm going to be playing tomorrow, but we'll go from there. And again, hopefully you enjoyed today's program. I will see you at some point later today. Or I guess you will see me at some point later today. I guess that's actually more accurate, I suppose, is that you are going to see me later today. But either way, that's all I've got. So, thank you. I'm out of here. This is the part where I turn the stream off.
Good news is, for me, I'm here. The bad news for you is, I'm coming back.